mentioned autophagy, and now were the benefits of that just overblown? I've heard that the for you to get to a point where autophagy had a real benefit, you would have to fast for such a long period that it's almost impossible for most people without like a real commitment. You know, like and some people have that kind of insanity that they can do it for days and days at a
Yeah.
time. Don't. What would you say about that autophagy?
Okay. So good question. This is one of the most common questions clients ask me. It's like, what about autophagy? That's literally the question. So you have actually
That what is that?
that's so that is marketed as cellular. When you don't eat, the body starts to break down suboptimal parts of itself in the cells, and it kind of repurposes them, and you clean up house. So then when you refeed, you are healthier and better. That's kind of the marketing sort of thing. And in my book, I call it autophagy. Starve yourself to upregulate the thing that is caused by starving yourself, because because so the thing is, so autophagy, if you kind of look, you don't even have to look hard to find this. So there's a couple of types of autophagy. You have non-selective bulk autophagy and you have selective autophagy. So the good one is where you target specific things in the cell that are not working well, like mitochondria, lysosomes, whatever else. And then that actually has been found to be triggered by fructose, certain carbohydrates, exercise. So you can trigger autophagy even while you're in a fed state. But here's the thing, the autophagy that they're sort of lauding is so amazing. That is what happens when you starve yourself. That is the bulk autophagy, which is indiscriminate. So everything gets broken down because the body is like, I don't care about rejuvenation. I care about immediate survival, because truly the body doesn't know, is it going to be alive? Is it going to get another meal in the next 2, 3, 5, 6, 10 days? So it does only things that are, to keep your brain, your heart, your kidneys, the main sort of functions working. So that is called non-selective or bulk autophagy, which is in response to starvation and nutrient sort of deficiency. That's what happens. So that's what you get when you are starving yourself, man. It's a scam. Like I don't think I can sugarcoat it any other way, honestly.
No, it's fascinating
So
to me. Sorry, just really bringing it back to
Yeah.
Atia. Like Atia was the face of this thing. I don't know if you know him, Sam, but Dr. P. Atia, he's been on all the podcasts that we listen to. He's been on Rogan, all these guys, and he was the face of this podcasting app that was, I think it was created by the guy who did like Dig or one of those old apps that was popular,
Mhm.
like, or when Reddit first came to be. I can't remember. Anyway, it's called Zeros, the app, and he was the
Mhm.
face of this app. Like, you go in there and you start fasting, and like a little video from Peter Attia pops up. And when he abandoned fasting, that to me was immediately like a wake up call. Like, oh shit, like
Yeah.
maybe we should look at this, because
Yeah.
just the act of him stepping away from it meant so much to his reputation, like a reputation cost to him, that it had to have been a really, like, he knew for certain that it wasn't necessarily what he thought it was. So yeah, I'm inclined to hear this for sure.
Yeah, man. And look, you like I said, the people listening are sophisticated, and you have to understand, if doctors are recommending something, there is fuckery afoot almost invariably. Because well, and because a lot of well-meaning doctors, they're just, yourself, they're brainwashed by like a decade almost of, so it's very, even the most, he's well-meaning, like I genuinely like the guy. But I know he's much more credentialed and educated and smarter and more pretty, and probably his dick is bigger than mine. But that doesn't take away from the fact that he and many other people in the limelight right now are just spouting straight up harmful stuff. Like people, I don't know, I don't want to name names, but there's people like talking, you got to take like 4 or 5 grams of fish oil every day. Dude, I'm telling you, the more I look into it, it's not even for sure that these essential fatty acids are even essential, like literally.
Mm.
Like that's how deep this could be going, you know?
it's just crazy to me. I mean, this is just it's what you're telling me goes against everything I've been told lately. I know
What I
people
can,
are gonna be screaming
Sam,
at the show.
wh-
What are you talking about?
what I-
It's so nuts.
what I can offer you, bro, is if you want, we can run some pretty cool lab tests where we can check your hormones, we can check your oxidative stress, stuff like that, and I can tell you if what you've been doing so far if there's any gaps in it, and we can very easily, with a few supplements, a couple of dietary changes, we can resolve those things, nip them in the bud before they become an actual problem. So if you need, and I guarantee you, you won't, very few doctors, even in the USA, are at the level where we are in terms of this kind of discovering imbalances and not just treating the damn piece of paper, the lab test, but actually figuring out what the person needs to correct the thing, not correct the marker, but correct the thing inside them that is causing that. And what I've noticed is people that take a lot of omega-3s, they have a lot of lipid peroxidation in the lab tests that we run, right? So this is when your fatty, like cell membranes in your brain cells, heart, whatever, they're getting damaged by oxidative stress. And you can measure that in the urine. So I'm seeing on the lab test, they have low omega-3s and then high-ish lipid peroxides and high-ish sort of moderate DNA damage. And then the lab reports, or what a doctor would tell you, is you need more omega-3s, your omega-3s are low. No, what's happening is the lipid peroxides are high because all the omega-3s are the first thing to get targeted when you're under stress. And man, very few people are out there, or I'm not, like, I didn't invent this by any means, but very few people out there are talking about it. And a lot of these folks in, like, that are big accounts, big influencers, I'm like, if you read my book, you have a few copies of my book. If you read the book, you will see almost everything we think we know about health. We have to be open-minded to rethink and reevaluate, from boosting nitric oxide. A lot of my male clients are on arginine, citrulline, beetroots to boost nitric oxide. Nitric oxide, dude, is fucking pathological. It's a reactive oxygen species and a reactive nitrogen species, right? Low salt. I mean, that's obviously, I'm sure you know that already, that low salt, that's another scam. I mean, it just fiber in the diet. It just goes on and on and on. Almost every single, like, week or two, I'm like, fuck, this too. So yeah, it's hard. Even for me at times.
Unbelievable.
What about
Yeah.
omega-3s from natural sources? I mean, would you recommend those, like salmon and stuff, or is it all we don't need it?
So have we gotten into the fish oil scam?
Yeah, that's
is
what
this
you're
what
talking
we're
about right now,
discussing
the
about right now?
omega-3s.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, so I wouldn't go out of my way to, like, remove them, but I wouldn't go out of my way to add them. I have one client. He's got access to literally the best doctors in the USA. Like, he's that level, and his doctor got all the meat out of his diet. The guy used to hunt, and all the meat out of his diet. He was only eating fish every day, like a different type of fish, and taking the omega-3s and a bunch of stuff, doing the exercise, all of that stuff. And then they found coronary artery calcification. Started working with me. I told him, dude, are you kidding me? Get all this fish out of your diet. I mean, if your doctor recommends it, you make your own choice. But I would get all the fish out of my diet. I would throw those omega-3s in the bin, and I would go back to hunting or have someone hunt for you, because all the things your doctor told you probably is what caused you to be in this state right now. So, but to answer your question, Johnny, like, natural sources, you're gonna get them. I wouldn't worry about them. But like, what I used to do, even like last year, I would like buy fish eggs, like a hake roe, and cod livers with the oil in cans, and like 4 times a week I would open 2 of each, and I would force feed my wife, give some to my dog, give some to my
Force
kid.
feed your wife.
And
How'd that go over?
she hated it, and I did it when she was pregnant. And dude, I was like, fuck, I've been poisoning my family. Now, you get other nutrients with when it's a whole food, so it's not like terrible, but I'm like, fuck, man, I've been poisoning my family for years with these adding extra omega-3s, you know? So if my advice, not medical advice, this is financial advice. If you have an omega-3 supplement, throw that shit in the bin and don't waste your money on it ever again.
All right,
not financial advice.
I got to play devil's advocate just a little
Yeah.
bit, because I've been working out and my joints started hurting. And I went to the supplement store and I was like, hey, dude, you guys look like you guys lift a lot. What are you guys going to give me? They straight up gave me fish oil. They're like, oh, omega-3s. And I took it.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
I don't know if it's placebo, but it
worked.
kind of
No,
not
it worked.
hurting as much.
XG, it worked. And I'll tell you why it worked. Because it's very well known in scientific circles that omega-3s and omega-6s are immunosuppressive. When you suppress the immune system, inflammation goes down. And curcumin, it's another thing that might tell you, take curcumin. So curcumin, it does have this actual anti-inflammatory effect, but the problem is that's another thing I was like, this is getting very big. Let me investigate it. So it has problems. But what I would do in your case is instead of the fish oil, which again it suppresses the immune system, that's why you get a benefit. But cortisol does the same thing. In fact, in the 70s, they were using seed oils and certain like fish oils or whatever else. They were using that to give to people that got an organ transplant to suppress the immune system. That's how effective they are, and that's why they're associated with higher cancer in animal studies. So what I would have done in your case is I would have gotten from myherb.com. I forgot the name of the brand, but if you type in willow bark extract, that's nature's aspirin in a more concentrated form. That is an actual anti-inflammatory. And nobody's talking about willow bark extract. They're talking about curcumin, which does have a similar effect mechanistically as the willow bark, or the aspirin, but it also apparently has some other toxic effects which are kind of a little bit more deeper. But I knew that's another thing. I knew there was fuckery afoot because curcumin is another thing that over the last few years is being huge, man. So there you go, another thing you can add to the list to at least investigate.
It's so crazy. I mean, like, it's so nuts that all this is like. It's like you get programmed this. You're trying to do right. You're trying to get away from our, our poison food culture, and now even the healthy stuff seems not to be helping you. I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just smoke crack and just never eat, and I'll lose weight and I'll have a ton of energy.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe
I would do that ahead of a lot of the stuff that it's being freaking promoted out there, bro. Crack sounds like fun.